Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. So, you guys have been with me through a lot of firsts in the 2 years since I started my YouTube channel, and today is another special day because, it was my first podcast yesterday. So, I was invited at the Auto Detailing Podcast, which is a very huge car detailing podcast in the United States. It's hosted by Jimbo Balaam, and he essentially sent me the video clip. So he recorded our conversation, which lasted about an hour. So it was raw, unedited, and we didn't have any scripts. So it was just like talking to a friend. So how I started my detailing career and how the YouTube channel came along and all that good stuff. So, here's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's pretty cool. And let me know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Really take the opportunity to listen to all of it from beginning to end. There are some uncandid moments in there, and I also answer some viewers' questions. So it was pretty cool. So guys, enjoy. Let's start the show.
All right. Yeah, actually, and I always do this, dang it, every time we start recording. But I think it'd be super fun if we had you say, well, this is episode 343 of the Auto Detailing Podcast for everyone that's listening. But what if you opened the show and you said your name like you do in your videos?
The one where I shout, "Welcome
Yes.
to another episode of Pan." Yeah, some love it, some are like freaked out about it. My French following somehow, if I do not do it, they absolutely demand it. And some have even like they have a stopwatch and they're like, "Wow, you beat your record in this one. It's 13 seconds long." And I got poems on my channel. I got a person who made a custom-made T-shirt with my face on it. I mean, it's amazing, the world of YouTube. So yeah, I can definitely do that.
Let's do that. And actually, I'll probably honestly keep that in because I keep these podcasts really raw, really real. So,
Yep.
But why don't you open the show and tell us who you are like you would on your YouTube channel?
Are you going to give me a cue, or how do you want
Just
us to?
just right now. You're
Right
ready
now.
to go.
All right.
Yep.
So hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer.
I thought
Hey, Jimbo.
that would be the best way to start it out. So Pan, welcome to the Auto Detailing Podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jimbo.
I'm super excited. For those that don't know, we're actually doing this in a video format as well, so you can check it out on my YouTube channel or Pan the Organizer on YouTube if you want to see what we both look like when we talk to each other. We
That's
will
right.
just be sitting here, but I'm
Can
super
you hear
excited.
me well? First of all, this is my first ever podcast, so I want to make sure everything's fine.
And everything is sounding good, looking good.
Awesome.
I'm honored that this would be your first podcast, and
Same here, my friend.
I'm sure people are going to be lining up, but one day I could say, you know what, that Pan guy, he was my first guest.
That's awesome.
Or I was his first podcast. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Pan, obviously, I'm sure people are well aware of who you are and all that, but I really want to go back to kind of the beginning of, do you have like an earliest memory of like either cleaning cars or organizing stuff, and I even want to get into that too, like why the name Pan the Organizer? Obviously, Pan is
Yep.
your name, but can you kind of give us like, I want this interview to go from kind of like beginning to where you're at right now. So
Sure.
start back at the beginning of, why YouTube, why cleaning cars, why organizing, all that.
So I'm 37 years old currently. My birthday was in March. I started detailing when I was 16 years old, so just over 21 years ago now, circa 1997 roughly. It all started when my dad bought me my first used car. I remember it was a Toyota Tercel. He bought it as my high school graduation gift. So Dad, thanks to you, he always encouraged me in my studies. So I was new to this car thing. I was a teenager, and I knew I was obsessed with cleaning because I already was keeping my stuff very tidy at home. So I wanted to know how to wash my car. So obviously I look up to my dad a lot, and I asked him, well, how do I take care of this vehicle now? Because obviously it's a prized possession of mine. And so he told me, well, you grab a bucket and some dish soap, and that's it. You go ahead, here's a sponge, and you start cleaning the car. So as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that this doesn't make any sense. I'm using a soap that my mom uses for her dishes to clean the dishes, and there has to be a better way. So back then, there wasn't any YouTube channels or any podcasts, so car detailing forums were the thing. So that shows my age, by the way. But anyhow, so I went and started doing my own research. I love research. That's kind of my background as well.
Okay.
And so I found out that there was actually these car detailing products that you can buy to make a better job. So I started with the classics in your big box stores, like the Meguiar's lineups and so on and so forth. And I realized just how fun it was and how amazing the results were. And so obviously when that happens, your friends and family sort of get interested. Your neighbors see you, hey, do you want to detail my car? And then I started doing that. I eventually got my own first brand new car in 2004. So it was a Nissan Sentra SER Spec V. So this volcanic orange, it was a super sporty car. It was in my early 20s. I was so proud. And I was part of a forum or a group of Nissan owners, and I eventually started offering services to them. And so they loved the work. Feedback was absolutely great. I was very meticulous in the way I was doing things already back then. And so I grew from there and just started loving and being obsessed with car detailing in general, especially the products themselves, how to do the steps, how I can improve on things as well. I always loved keeping myself up to date because the techniques, I mean, my God, what we've been using in the last 2 to 3 years is so different from what was being done just 10 years ago and, well, let alone 10, 20 years ago. So things change a lot. So, yeah, it all started with first used car and just trying to figure a way to make the whole process better and get a better result.
I love that. And then where did the YouTube come along, or why did you decide? At what point? Obviously, 2004, and I think you just started your channel a few years back.
2016, April 2016. Yeah, just 2 years in the business.
2 years. So what? And obviously, you had life kind of going on at the same time as you're cleaning your car, and did it just kind of grow into all aspects of your life, or maybe it was all aspects of your life, like you had mentioned. You kept things nice and tidy, but then grows into cars. Where does YouTube come along?
Well, it was kind of a fluke, I have to say. I used to watch a lot. I used to follow a lot of YouTubers online, especially when they first started. The majority of the detailing YouTubers started in circa, let's say, 2009, 2010.
Yep.
If I look at Larry from Ammo NYC, I look up to him, by the way, great person. And a lot of them have spawned on since. So the Forensic Detailing channel, of course, Maddie from Obsessed Garage, which you've had on your podcast as well.
Yep.
Shout out to Maddie. And a lot of guys are just doing a great job. The Car Cleaning Guru in the UK and a bunch of other. So I just got inspired and say, listen, these guys are sharing, most of them at a professional level, what they do on an everyday basis. But there's not a lot of DIYers out there or enthusiasts. Their tips, their tricks, their techniques, and how they do things on more sort of a DIY way. And I also noticed that I was obsessed with cleanliness and organization in general, whether it be finances. I love taking care of budgeting, financing in the household. I'm the one who takes care of all of that.
Yeah.
I love cleaning in general, so keeping things tidy and clean. And I was at a supper with my girlfriend, and at one point she's like, well, why don't you share all these passions that you have? Same thing goes for high-end electronics. So I'm a hi-fi enthusiast. I love stereo music and home theater as well. So I built myself a custom home theater and a full dedicated sound room. I posted those videos on my channel to share all my passions. And so during that supper, it kind of be like, yeah, but what would I call my channel? So she came up actually with the term, well, Pan TheOrganizer. I think it's kind of obvious. You like to organize everything around you, whether it be even people, like anything people want. I give a lot of advice on how people can better organize their lives. Usually it starts with budgeting, so how you can improve your finances, keep your house tidy. I believe I'm very regimented, so it not only extends to the car, but to every aspect of my life. So a clean home, a clean environment, a clean workspace. I mean, even my detailing studio, everything has been thought through to be able to do car detailing. The vehicle itself obviously is spick and span. So I'm a firm believer that if you have every aspect of your life as organized as possible, you are bound to be successful because it's in your mindset. It's the way you approach things. You're very detail oriented. I love digging into things, doing research, finding out what the best products, what the best tools, what the best techniques are. I challenge a lot of the status quo. So I like to challenge stuff that have been, I don't know, say people have been using techniques for 20 years, where why is that technique still going on? Do we really need that kind of a product? How can we improve? So I just wanted to share my passions because I have many of them. I have what I call all of the guy syndromes.
Yep.
So the tech, the gadgets, the cars, detailing, it just never stops. So I wanted to share that with my audience, and I was fortunate enough to speak 3 languages, so English, French, and Greek.
Wow.
So I decided to why not do the English and French versions of my video. Of course, it's a lot of work. People don't realize this, but I usually spend anywhere from 10 to 15 hours for one single video. So from the detailing work itself, which is very, very time consuming and demanding, to the shooting, I do pretty much everything solo. Video editing also takes a lot of my time. So I love what I do. And it became a thing of passion again. So now I love, like on my days off, I'll go ahead and plan a video and go ahead and shoot that and edit it. And it's all part of the fun process. So essentially, I wanted to find a way to share all my passions and all my quirks and my personality with my viewers. And it's been doing great so far. I'm enthused. I'm blessed to have a great audience as well. I feel privileged to be in such a situation now. Well, we've grown to almost 130,000 subscribers and 13 million views in just 2 years. So it's been a great trip so far.
Did you think it would get that high? Or like, because I remember when I asked Matt with Obsessed Garage and I said, and I'm sure you know his story with his OCD and going like a severe case and all that. And so, putting out videos was part of his therapy, and when I asked him about, did you think it was ever going to get this big? And I asked him at SEMA, and I think at that time he had like 75,000 subs or something like that. And
still huge, eh?
Which is still huge. I was like, that's incredible, And I said, did you ever think it would get this big? And he said, no, I thought it'd be cool if 5,000 people were following me. I thought that would be, like crazy. And I'm like, and I look at him now, I'm like, dude, now, like you, I think he's up in the, 125, 130 range.
He's at 131,000. I keep track of every single YouTuber.
But I want to mention something that you talked about, because I had this theory that I tell my wife, and she doesn't agree with me, but she doesn't see the amount of cars that I do either. But I think it plays into your theory that if you're neat and tidy and organized with your car, chances are that you're like that in a lot of other aspects of your life.
Absolutely, that's a common theme.
Okay, so you kind of reassured that for me, because it's just something that I've kind of picked up on and realized through doing so many people's cars. It's always the person that has like the thrash car, regardless of what it is, and regardless of how many kids they have, or if they're single, married, that doesn't matter. But if their car is thrashed, those are usually the people that are scatterbrains, when it's time to come pick up their car, or, can't find their wallet to pay me, and I just sit back and think, man, they are like this with their whole life, and I think you kind of, reaffirm that of like, it is true. Like
for me, all those spheres, they interconnect. So your car, your home, your finances, the way you present yourself as well. Are you a professional person?
Yep.
There are some exceptions. Like I'm sure there are guys who have their cars in mint condition and museum quality level, and maybe their house isn't as clean because of different reasons. I mean, people have families and kids, and sometimes it gets out of control.
It's out of control.
But however, usually, the common theme I found among the very like hardcore OCD car detailing enthusiasts out there is the cleanliness aspect and want to like attain the perfection essentially.
Yep.
So Matt obviously has been diagnosed. He has a severe case of OCD. So hats off to him. By the way, he shares that with his audience. I find that amazing. I'm not diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure if I had to be, I would also probably be in that same category, because I'm OCD with everything, like the strive for the best, the strive for perfection, the strive for organization, cleanliness, all that stuff. It definitely, like I see it on an everyday basis, and you need to find a spouse. I'm lucky enough to have a girlfriend that understands all that, because it can get very hectic for your life partner to have to go through all that. But I'll give you an example, like one weird thing. If we get guests to come over our home for a party or a dinner or whatever, one of the best comments I have, and people find this awkward, but they say, wow, does anybody live in this house? So like, when I hear that, I have a smile. Obviously, my girlfriend looks at me with this weird look.
Yep.
Well, it means that I'm doing a good job at keeping this place like super, super clean and super organized. If I'm getting that kind of comment, I always make the joke too, because people are like, Jesus, like we see your videos, you love cleaning your car. Like, am I allowed to go in your car?
You're like, no.
So I usually come up with a classic, well, if you come in my car, you'll need these dentist slippers, so no shoes. You'll need a respirator or some sort of a mask with an exhaust outside my window. And so I like to play around. Like I know I'm self-conscious of the way I am.
Right.
And people around me, I mean, they benefit from it too, because you always get questions. How can I improve on this? How can I improve on that aspect of my life? And so I love sharing the way I do things, and hopefully it helps people, even if it's one aspect that I can help you with. I accomplished my job.
And I feel like that's a reoccurring theme for people who put out content out there, right? And me and you, before we started, or you and I guess, before we started recording, we're talking about comments and people commenting and kind of random people commenting stuff that's annoying. But I don't think people realize how much energy and effort is put into producing content. And then I think people start hating on other people when, you know, you make money off it, whether that's ad rolls or product placement or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But they don't understand. They're just passively watching this video or passively listening to this podcast that takes time away from you and I doing what we could be doing, which is anything else, you know. But I do find that reoccurring theme is that, you know, it comes from a place of really wanting to help people, you know, and a byproduct of that is making money doing it, because you need to buy that microphone. I need to buy this microphone.
Absolutely.
And that's just how it works. I forget where I was going with that, but I just...
I have to say, if I can add to that, I think you're totally right, because what I see YouTube as is a way to consume a lot of videos very quickly on any topic. It's basically the world's biggest search engine with Google.
Yep.
Funny enough, both companies are the same business essentially. So people will go on there. They'll watch maybe, I don't know, if they haven't seen you or aren't subscribed to you, they'll watch 10, 20, 30 seconds of your stuff.
Right.
If they like it, great. They'll move on to another video and subscribe. And if they don't like it, well, they'll move on to another YouTuber and so on and so forth.
Yep.
But they don't realize, some of them, just how much time and effort every YouTuber puts into his videos, whether he's super successful with millions of followers, or even when they first start at 1,000 subscribers or even less. I remember when I first started, I was putting even a lot more time and effort because all this was new to me.
Right.
So I'd spend like 20, 25 hours per video just trying to achieve perfection and detailing and all the details in the editing. So I'm fortunate enough that the majority of my viewers, though, they realize, I think, just the amount of effort that you put in, especially when you're filming solo and you're doing all of this on your own.
It's a ton of work.
Shout out to everybody, especially, well, even guys like you who do podcasts. Like you said, you take time out of your day and time out of your life. I could be doing something else, right? But I'm taking time to inform my audience, to hopefully entertain them along the way, give them tips and tricks and techniques on how they can improve their car detailing experience. And just hopefully they're looking forward to my videos every single week. But definitely, it's a lot of effort. It's time consuming. And just for all the viewers out there, you guys have to know and have to realize just how much time it takes to make these videos. Like, I challenge anyone who thinks this is easy and takes just a minute. Well, go out there, grab a camera, do a video and see the reactions. First of all, you have to be, I think, ready for some trolls. There are a lot of internet trolls out there, and for some negative comments. Like, you see it, you put 20 hours doing a video that you're proud of. Right. And yes, there might be like 1,000 people liking it, but sometimes you'll still see those 10 to 15 dislikes or thumbs down. And you're wondering, right? Like, what did the person not like of all this energy I put in to my work and my craft? And why is this happening? But I mean, you know, some people just like to spread negativity around, and I just try to push that aside and focus on all the positive viewers. And thank God there are many positive people out there than there are negative people.
Did you like, okay, so when I started the podcast, and we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, but like when I started the podcast, I started it with an intention of having it produce income, right? So it was, I'm going to directly share, you know, what I've learned, but in return, I know that one day, I didn't know how, but I was going to make money off putting content on the internet. Did you, not necessarily about money, but but when you and your girlfriend were talking about putting videos up and sharing your life,
Yep.
did you think it was going to grow into something big? Did you have aspirations for that? Or were you kind of like Matt was with like, hey, if 5,000 people thought I was interested, like kind of doing it because I like gear? Did you have it? I guess what I'm saying is my motive was kind of selfish in the fact that I wanted to produce an income from it and have it be an income stream. Did you have that same thought? Was it just kind of, we'll see where it goes, or?
That's a great question. And I get that question asked a lot. Actually, no. The goal was never to make money, and it still is not. Like I've always been successful with my life, so I didn't see YouTube as a necessary means to have an extra income. Good thing if it eventually becomes bigger. That I won't say no to that.
Yeah, sure.
But the main purpose was really like I wanted to share my passions because that's what I really love. I like talking to people.
Yeah.
I like showing what I do, how I do it, and hopefully have them improve things in their lives. I knew, like I didn't know it would get this big this fast. Like I thought that getting over 100,000 subscribers and that silver play button and all that is a thing of fiction. And it's a very small percentage of YouTubers who actually get to that point. But I knew that I'd put a lot of time and effort, and usually everything that I do in life, I do it seriously. I never stop. I was very consistent, so I never skipped a single week since I started my YouTube channel. I always upload at least 2 videos. Sometimes it's more, 2 or 6, in English and in French. So I knew I'd work hard. My work ethic has always been great. And yeah, so that's it. I never think I had the goal was never to make money. I've followed many YouTubers before actually starting my YouTube channel, who give advice on how to improve and how to start your YouTube channels and so on and so forth, like Daryl Eves, which has a channel. Yeah. And one thing that I know, because I took a lot of notes 1 year prior to starting my own channel, I wanted to make sure I start off on the right foot. So getting the right video production equipment and the mics and all the cameras and the good stuff, but also getting tips on how I can be successful. And one common theme that came back is they said, if you start off your YouTube channel wanting to make money, you'll never succeed. So usually the successful channels are some who are just passionate about something. So you do have to find one of your biggest passions, and that's something you're good at and that you want to share with people and bring something different to the table. So there are a lot of car detailing channels out there. So I was like, how can I find something that's different and that will entice people to want to follow me? Mm-hmm. So I knew I'd have some sort of a success, but yeah, of course, it always comes as a surprise when, like, in just 2 years, 130,000 subscribers. I'm blessed, by the way, thanks to all my peeps for being there. And I add right now, the speed I grow at is 10,000 to 11,000 new subscribers a month, and that keeps progressing. We should be at roughly 200,000 by year's end. So I'm blessed. This whole journey has been awesome, and people have been great. Like I call this the Pan TheOrganizer community, because I truly see this as linking people together because we all have a common passion. Yep. I remember my dad, you'll find this funny, in the beginning, because my dad's very serious. He's military level, like all Greek dads, because my mom's Canadian. My dad's Greek, by the way. They're both Canadian citizens, obviously, but he was born in Greece. So he was raised in a very poor environment in a little village called Messolongi in Greece. And so he was raised to start working at 12 years old. And he worked for like 48 years of his life, became an electrical contractor here in Canada, very successful. So I saw him come to the country. Well, I didn't see him obviously because I wasn't born, but I mean, he came to the country in the late 70s with $100 in his pockets. Imagine that. You're starting a new life in a different country. You have no money, and all he knew was how to work hard. And so he obviously transferred some of that knowledge and like work ethics to me from a young age. So I knew I always had to work hard for what I have. So at the beginning of my YouTube channel, he's like, how can a serious guy like you want to just stay there and do videos on how to wash cars? Don't you think you could be doing something more productive with your time off? And I was like, Dad, trust me. Like, I know that you see how obsessed I am with car detailing. Like he'll see me detail cars for 5, 10, 15 hours on end. And it's not work for me. It's soothing, first of all. I find it very relaxing, and I focus on the detailing task at hand, so I forget about everything else. And I think many people connect on that level because you forget about all your problems because you have one task in front of you and you have to focus to make the car look as good as you can. So you focus all your time and energy and you forget about everything else. You put great tunes in your podcast. or podcast, absolutely. And while you're detailing. So I said, Dad, you know what? Give me a chance and you'll see this YouTube thing. I'm taking this seriously. I think it'll lead to something good. And now today he's like, yeah, I'll imitate his accent.
It's like a great idea.
My son, he's a YouTuber. He's very good at what he does. You know, you have to see his videos. And now he suggests things for me to do. Like, you should talk about this, do that.
Awesome.
So now all of a sudden he's a proud dad of a YouTuber. So I'm proud to call myself a YouTuber. I think this is official now.
That's amazing. You know, and that's what's been interesting for me too, is that I did go at it with, I guess, what would be considered maybe the wrong motive, right? Of like wanting to make money from it, right? But what it's actually done is made me fall back in love with the passion of cleaning cars and detailing. And I really resonated what you said of like just kind of getting lost in the detail, and like, you know, time kind of goes out the window because it's not about time. It's therapeutic. Now, for me, what gets difficult is I still run a detailing business, right? So I have to be careful with getting lost in the details when it comes to a customer's vehicle, right? But I've been able, over the past 10 years of running a business, I've been able to kind of separate that. But I'll tell you a quick story that I have 3 kids and a wife, and so we went on a trip. It was a couple hours away, and my kids are 5, 3, and 1 currently. And so they make it, maybe if we're lucky, about 2 hours in the car before we either got to pull over, regroup, or it's like, you know, crazy. So we were pushing about 2.5 hours of a drive back from our little mini vacation. That was just a nightmare. And the only thing, you know, some people will like go veg out and watch TV or binge on a Netflix, you know, whatever, and that's fine. And I'm a big fan of like, you do whatever you got to do to relax and come back down to earth, right? But I found myself like, and I didn't even, I reflected on it later of like, I was outside cleaning my wife's car because it was a mess from the trip, right? And I just, after I was all done, I was like, yeah, maybe that was exhausting, and not everyone would like cleaning a car, and they would think it's tedious and a waste of time and all that. But it's like, it was so therapeutic for me. I don't even know how long I was out there, but it was my way of regrouping and coming back to and all that. And I really think that, you know, talking with other people like yourself and people that are passionate about the detailing industry, which is what the Auto Detailing Podcast has enabled me to do, is open up those doors that I've kind of reconnected to that passion. You know, so now my ongoing, because as you know too, it's like, it's one thing to create a video and put it out there. It's a whole nother thing to do it for 2 years, every week, or 4 years, or week after week after week. And
yes, hats off to you, by the way. You've been doing this for 4 years, so you definitely know all the time and effort it needs.
Yeah, and the roller coaster of it. I don't know about for you, and maybe I'm just emotional, but it's like the roller coaster of like, you know, you could do it really good for a month, you know, and then it's like, month 2 comes in and you're like, dang it, I need a video. And, you know, I feel like it's inevitable that you have those lulls just in like with life and everything else of like, I don't know what I want to do a podcast on, or I don't know what I want to do a video on, or
of course,
and maybe you're a superhero. I don't want to speak for you, but you know, I've had those too, but it's hard to pull through that. And again, I don't know where I was going with that, but I guess
one thing that you came up with that I want to touch on is you talked about therapy. One thing I noticed, because you start these channels, you have a goal in mind. So mine was to share my passions and to show the tips and tricks on how to do detailing at a high level, whether it be for beginners or more advanced enthusiasts, because I got many professionals following me as well. But one thing I noticed that is a lot of people were commenting on just how soothing it is watching me do the work. So I was like, wait a second here. I think I touched on something else. So there are people who don't even own cars sometimes. Like they'll comment and they say, listen, I don't even have a car, but I like watching you do all the work because I see just how much effort comes into it and it makes them relax. So I tried an experiment recently in my Mercedes AMG C43 video, the white car that I posted a couple of weeks ago. And I put in the brackets ASMR, which is a very popular movement now on YouTube because you get the sights and sounds of something that's very relaxing. So instead of commenting on each step as I normally do or putting some background music, I let them just enjoy, because I was detailing the car mostly outside. So they heard the birds chirping, kids laughing, playing around, and they heard the background.
Interesting.
It was a great day. They hear the water flow, the pressure washer, they hear the scrubs, the brushes, the leather seats, all that kind of stuff. So it was very popular because a lot of them just tuned in to watch that, and it helped relax them.
Wow.
Some watch my videos. I don't take it bad, by the way, but some watch the video sometimes just to go to bed. So they fall asleep just listening to you. So either I'll use a soothed, calming voice, or I'll let them hear the sights and sounds. So I'm always surprised and shocked sometimes too to see like it's not only people who want to learn about car detailing, but it can be your everyday person who just wants to relax, and they somehow found an outlet with those videos to get to just enjoy and relax and be entertained for 10, 15, 20 minutes,
That's incredible. And I think that's another thing too, is like when you realize that the information you have and can give to someone else helps them, and even like what you just mentioned, it's like, it seems like your dad said, you're just going to wash cars. It's like, I always joke I'm just a car washer, man. I don't know much, and I laugh, and it's kind of the running joke for people that I just meet or whatever. Because, when you meet people and they have these perceptions and everyone wants to ask, well, what do you do for work? And they want to think that I'm some like crazy like guy. And I'm like, I just wash cars. And people are always like, what? You just wash cars? I'm like, yep, I just wash cars. And it leaves them stunned, but it's like, I know that it's more than that, but when, and I'm sure you get people writing into you all the time, and some of these people's stories are really touching, and you're like, wow, how can just washing a car be so effective and help people so much, And I remember early on when I started podcasting, that was about a year in, I stopped for like a month or two, and the thing, because I was kind of burnt out and I was going through one of those lulls, and one of the things that made me, and I have never stopped ever since, I've only ramped up, was knowing that like I was helping someone out there with something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It sounds like you're doing the same thing. It's just like, it's almost like leaves you speechless. Like, what? It's just crazy to me that like information you have or I have can help someone in such a dramatic way. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
You know what? It's funny you talk about that, because I am one that never belittles anybody's job. You never know, regardless of what a person does in life, they can be very successful at it. And for me, even car detailers, I've always respected them, one, for the level of ethics. Those people are always professionals. They're on time. They do quality work. They take care of people's prized possessions, which is their car. Very important for many people. And many of them are very successful. And I get emotional sometimes, even though I'm not supposed to as being a guy. But like I get feedback from people in their late teens or their early 20s or even in their 30s. They changed their work and are now professional detailers because of my videos. So I'm so happy when I'm able to transmit my passion and my knowledge and give them the tools to start off, because I also have videos on how to start your successful mobile detailing business or your car detailing business. So I show them the initial steps, and I think it gives them the kick in the butt or the necessary, you know what, I think I can do this. And they actually do. And the thank yous I've had from people now, it's their livelihoods. So they support their families because of that now.
That's incredible.
I mean, you can never belittle anybody's work. You never know what they do in life. I mean, just I don't know if you know about the Cosmic Barber. So he's a YouTuber that's become like, he exploded. It's this barber in India. So he has a little shop. So the guy probably didn't make a lot of money before. He started his YouTube channel because he has a special way of doing head massages. Now, people, you have to go check that out. It's just out of control. So it's another ASMR video where you just get to enjoy the sights and sounds. And he does this whole, like, he's rubbing your head and he's looking to the skies to get energy, and it's like it's an experience. So he grew to millions and millions of views because it's something so exceptional. So coming from this guy who was probably dirt poor, and hats off to him now, because he probably has a very successful life because of what he did on YouTube. I mean, I'm always impressed, and I always take the positives from that. I like people having success, so I'm not one to bash people or to be jealous. No, you should always look forward to seeing these people in action and maybe take one or two tips of what they've done to get to that level. How can you improve your life or everything you do as well to get to another level? Everybody can. Like, I'm honest to God, I'm one of those people who believes that anybody can make it in life if you put your mind to it. And lucky enough, we have these YouTube videos to help inspire people, help give those tips and tricks, or that the extra boost in confidence that some need to start something. And I mean, that's one cool thing about YouTube is you can get inspired. I mean, I remember the days where I used to watch people like Casey Neistat, very successful vlogger, or even FouseyTube. Like he had a rough time in his YouTube career, but I still get inspired by these people. If I look at Marquez Brownlee from MKBHD on the tech side, because I also love tech and I do a couple of tech reviews on my channel as well. So I took the best bits and pieces and their practices and their ethics and how well they work, like what makes them successful. So I sat down and took notes and asked myself, what makes this guy successful? Why did he make it on YouTube? How did he ever do this? And hopefully I get to that point one day too. I mean, I'm doing the best I can here, but most importantly, I think is just getting people to get out there, enjoy detailing, do the work. It might sound like it's a lot, but you start with the baby steps. I mean, just learning the basic 2-bucket method for washing your car or how to dry your car properly. Every time you achieve something new that you have success with, you'll be happy. I mean, if you wash your car and it looks better than if you wash it at your local automatic car wash, well, you'll be proud of what you accomplished. Not only did you save money because you did it on your own, but it'll be a much greater result. So you start with those baby steps or building blocks, and you build as you go. So you improve your techniques, and you buy better products and better tools to help you improve your work. So YouTube is great for that.
I have a random question that I just thought of, and my show's full of tangents. And we've been pretty good staying on track. Yeah. When you think in your head, do you think in English, French, or Greek?
Ooh,
or does it depend? Wow. Or does it depend on what? Because I have a lot of friends who speak Spanish, right? And I'm with them a lot, and they'll I think it's so amazing because I speak one language. And they'll just seamlessly transition from, Spanish to English. And I always ask them so when you're speaking in Spanish, do you think in English? Or I'm so fascinated by that. And I've watched your videos in French too. And because I see them both and I'm like, man, that's amazing. So when we're talking right now, speaking English, do you, what do you think?
Well, it's a
How's that for
a complicated
English?
answer, but I'll keep it short. So when I was young, straight from the kindergarten, I went to a private school where we had all three languages.
What's your first language?
My first language is French.
Okay, got it.
But I say it's 3 languages because in my family, we spoke all three languages all the time.
Got it. Okay.
So, right from my upbringing, when I was brought up, I was speaking English, French, and Greek. So my mom's French Canadian, so from the French province of Quebec here in Canada. Yeah. And my dad's from Greece. So the common language among them was English. My mom would speak to me in French, and my dad would teach me Greek. So in kindergarten, I started in a private school with all 3 languages as well, up to the 6th grade until I went to high school. And then I continued my schooling in French. Oh, wow. So I have to say my first reflex is usually thinking in French. Got it. But funny enough, because when I do my videos, I always start with the English version first, and then I move on to the French version. But yeah, the reflex or the thought process usually happens in French. Wow. And hopefully I don't have too much of a heavy accent in English. I like to think that I'm perfectly trilingual, but
I think it's really good. I think when you went to say automatic car wash or whatever word you used, I thought I heard that you were going to say it in a different language, or you being in Canada, sometimes verbiage is different and stuff like that.
Yeah, we say a couple of things differently.
That's what kind of triggered it to make me think, oh, maybe he thinks in French, and he's like, I don't know. I just think it's so awesome, that you could think in one language and be talking in another so seamlessly, and because to me, you sound, obviously there's a little accent there, but apparently I have an accent to some people and I don't realize it. So
yeah, well, even in the States, I mean, depending on which state you come from, we can see the differences too, or hear them. But it's funny because people on YouTube will notice everything you say or do, right? So in one of my videos, I was talking about Iron X, the iron remover. And the way we say it in Canada, at least in the eastern part, is iron. So in the comments, iron, or something like, you guys say it more iron in the US. Iron. So we pronounce the R heavily in Canada. Right. So that somehow got people So it's funny. Yeah, they'll see everything that you can't go through a whole video without people nitpicking on these little details, 100%. Which is cool too. It's as long as it's done in fun or in a fun way, and that there's no ill intent behind it. Sure. I'm fine with that.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I told you yesterday, I put out on my Facebook page that you were going to be on the show. And so I got a few questions that I want to get to
Oh, awesome.
from the listeners. So
Cool.
Christopher Gilbert, thanks for writing in a question. He asked, does he have a junk drawer that just isn't organized?
That's a great question, Chris.
Do you?
I would. I mean, everything is super tidy. I mean, even I'm sitting at my desk in my YouTube studio now, and if I open every drawer, it's just everything super neatly organized.
Got it.
In fact, I even made videos on how to organize your office space, and they can see how well organized my space is. So yeah, it really extends to all aspects of my life, even my garage. Like people have seen it, obviously, in my videos. Everything's super well organized. It was made for detailing. So no, there's not a single place in the home where it's disorganized.
I thought that one was fun. All right, Des Morris had a couple questions. He says, how does he get the manufacturers to send him their products? Now, my short answer, and I didn't respond to any of these. I'm gonna let you answer them. But I would assume part of it is when you have 130,000 eyeballs.
It helps.
It helps.
Well, of course, when I first started my channel, those businesses, they didn't know who I was. So I had already cupboards full of products. I mean, I spent thousands or more than $10,000 in products in my whole lifetime because I'm truly obsessed, and I detail a lot of cars for clients as well. So I had a big collection of products. But of course, as the channel started getting bigger and bigger, businesses notice you. So I got, on a daily basis, I get emails from companies all around the world who say, hey, listen, I would like you to test this or this product. Can you please have a look? But one thing that my viewers have to know, though, is that I only put videos together for products that I would personally purchase myself or that I use on a personal basis. So they have no idea just how many companies I've turned down or products that I never presented because they were not up to par with the quality that I demand and that I ask. Because it's important for me. Credibility is everything. I've built a solid following based on that. And I know that if I recommend a product to my viewers, they'll go ahead and do it on their own and still have a great experience because I vetted for it before. Like I'll test products for weeks on end, sometimes months, and some have been in my arsenal for over 10 years. So I bring all that experience together to recommend stuff based on my personal experience with them. But essentially, to answer the question in short, is many of the businesses reach out to me. And sometimes when I use something that's exceptional, or I find a new product that I'm enthused about, well, I'll go ahead and reach out to the company, see if I can test their whole lineup. So that, for example, happened with CarPro. So to name just them, but I love their lineup because I first started using IronX years ago. And that product always worked well for what it was supposed to do, which is remove iron contaminants. So I reached out to them and say, hey, listen, like I'm new to this CarPro stuff. Like you guys are from South Korea. So do you guys have any other products that I could look into? And sure enough, so they sent me a bunch of products from their lineup that I tested and I vetted. And same thing goes for Geon and Kamikaze Collection. And so I was able to be introduced to a bunch of different brands, super high quality stuff, even smaller businesses sometimes that are on the smaller scale that'll reach out to me that I love to help out because I truly believe that detailing should be a community thing. And sometimes those smaller companies don't have the funds like the Maguires of this world, which is a huge, probably the biggest detailing company in the world. So I love to extend help and show some products, but they have to be good. So I always warn those companies, you got to make sure that what you're sending me is good, because if not, it will not make it in my videos. So what I do show is the stuff that I actually use on a daily basis and to detail people's cars, which you can also see in my videos, obviously. So the results are there to speak for themselves. So yeah, a lot of businesses, the bigger you grow, it's obvious, you notice it. Like there are companies who reach out to you because the way YouTube works is you have an audience that specifically likes what you talk about. So my subscribers, 130,000 strong, they're all people who are somehow related to a passion or are intrigued by car detailing. So it's more focused, I think, of an audience compared to an ad that you'll run on TV, which you'll have an 80-year-old grandma who maybe doesn't care about car detailing who will see the commercial, or a 5-year-old kid who doesn't even have the funds to buy those products. So I think by the fact of the audience being more specific, the ads are more tailored, or the products that you're presenting are more audience focused. So I think it's a great way for a business to grow their production And we've seen like the companies I've helped, they send me emails all the time thanking me because they increase their bottom line, obviously. But more importantly, I always say is before the money aspect, because for me that's secondary. Like if people like your product, you'll sell them and make money eventually.
Right.
For me, the most important thing is online visibility. So the biggest online visibility forum we have today is YouTube. Yep. So if you can make it on YouTube, well, and it takes time to build an audience to the point where you're over 100,000 subscribers. It's a lot of work and energy, and I think those businesses realize just how much effort you've put in. So it's help me help you. So I can present your products. You can help me grow my channel that way. Mm-hmm. I get to discover also new products that I've never probably would have had access to, because being in Canada, we don't have access necessarily to everything. We have pretty much everything that's in North America. So the US, thank God you guys are there, because you're huge, probably the world's biggest market for car detailing. Yeah. So, but there are products and companies that are not necessarily sold here that I get introduced to, and I'm just happy and blessed to find these new products. This is what I worked so hard for. So this is my YouTube silver play button.
That's awesome.
For 100,000 subscribers. So we surpassed that mark in April, just before I hit the 2-year mark. So in under 2 years.
Congratulations.
And I'm striving for the next one, which is the million subscribers button. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe one day. It's never been done in the detailing workspace yet, but hopefully, I know
why
Larry
shouldn't you be first?
NYC is going there. He's already passed 500,000. Larry, I'm coming for you. So let me just put that back. All right.
I love that. I love that. All right. So another question would be, let me look here. So I guess here's this question, and I don't know how you want to handle it, but it's which brands out of the ones you've reviewed stick out highly to you? So you talked about, reviewing brands, and I one thing I did want to touch on with that is, sometimes people look for, and one thing I struggle with is talking about brands I don't really like you said, maybe you get sent a product and you don't really like it, and you feel like compelled to maybe talk about it because they sent it to you and all that, but it's like I never want to bash a brand either, and so people talk about, he only talks about the pros or whatever, and it's like, honestly, I just don't want to. There's no reason to bash a brand, but out of the ones that you reviewed, like you said, let me go back to it. Phone shut up. But which ones stick out highly to you out of all the ones that you reviewed, and assuming that you like all those ones, which ones were kind of more towards the top?
That's a very tough question, because I partially answered it in my 2017 Car Detailing Products Awards video. So I basically went through all the categories and picked my top 3 for every single product. And I'll have an update 2018 version of my Car Detailing Products video coming up probably at the end of August or beginning of September.
Okay.
But it's hard to pick just one brand, because every single one that I use are all great brands. But the ones that stick out to me quickly, if I look at in a recent basis, because things change from year to year.
And for everyone listening, I didn't prep Pan with any of these questions, so they're straight off the cuff.
Comes as a surprise, but that's fine. I'm all for that. I like ad lib kind of questions. Yeah. The ones that stick out, I have to say, for now, for me, CarPro definitely. Like as far as the full range, they're very competent. Gion as well. They've risen to success. They're a company that definitely deserves to be looked into. There are a lot of great ones. The ones who focus on ceramic coatings are, I think, a thing for me. Like I found my niche in the detailing world. My ceramic coating tutorial video, by the way, is ranked number 1 on YouTube for ceramic coatings at almost 2 million views. Wow. So that's pretty cool.
That's incredible.
But yeah, I really love ceramic coatings. I think they are the product for me. I still have expensive waxes, Carnauba waxes, and paint sealants, and they do a great job. But for those who want longevity, high gloss, and that crazy hydrophobic effects, nothing beats ceramic coating. So all the coating-focused companies, such as CarPro, Gion, Kamikaze Collection, Optimum Polymer Technologies, G-Technic, and a bunch of others. I look at FicTech, Nanolex. There are a bunch of great ones, but if there are one or two that really stand out for me, CarPro and Gion definitely. In my latest video for my own personal new car that I bought, I used the entire CarPro lineup. So if I had to answer quickly, it's that. But on an individual basis, like you'll see in my awards video coming up, there are many brands that show up, and a lot of them are very good in specialty products. Yeah,
we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, cool.
Aaron asked, does he own a detailing business, or do you just do it on the side from your garage? He said he's always wondered that.
Yep, it's I'm an enthusiast, so a DIYer, so it's not my personal business,
Gotcha.
but I do have clients. Yes, it's let's say a side gig that I do in my home. So I had my detailing garage custom built when I built my brand new home a couple of years ago, created just for that. So it's a 15-foot wide by 21-foot deep garage, so it's a 1.5 space, let's say. I have a heat pump inside, so it's heated and cool. I can work in it all year long. I have a floor coating that's watertight. I have a dehumidifier for when I'm done. The walls are finished in a kitchen and bathroom gypsum. The paint is also kitchen and bathroom mold resistant. There's 48 feet, of tubes for LED lighting. I mean, everything was really thought for car detailing. And I made a video on that too, my custom car detailing garage tour, for those who want to have more details. But essentially, yeah, it's my biggest passion in life, along with high-end electronics. And so it's not my daily job, but it's definitely one of my biggest passions.
Got it. And he also asked, Aaron had a question about your water softener, but I saw you have a video on that, so I'm going to direct Aaron to that, because I think that can kind of get complicated.
Yes.
And then he says, is he rooting for France in the World Cup since Canada didn't make it? And this was only 21 hours ago, so nothing has changed, I don't think, in the World Cup. I don't follow football, I guess, that closely. I would call it soccer, but
yeah, we call it soccer too in Canada, but
Gotcha.
Europeans love calling it football. I don't follow football too much either, but I have to say, like, obviously Canada's never there. Greece won the Euro. That's my other country. Greece won the Euro in 2004, but they never won a World Cup. So I'm left hanging. But actually, France is a great country. They're in the quarterfinals. But I think that Belgium is probably going to win it this year. They've had a stellar run even prior to the World Cup. I think 23 victories and no losses or something like that. So I know a lot of people are rooting for them. But I mean, my biggest viewing countries, if I look at my top 5, are USA. That's number 1. Followed by Canada, the UK. Then there's Belgium. So they're right up there. And France is obvious. I think France is, yes, they're second behind the US. So those are the top 5 countries. Very, very important. UK, obviously, England is in the World Cup quarterfinals. So congrats to all you guys too. So I truly have an international following. So I can't really side with one country.
Gotcha.
I don't want to start a war, but good luck. France, Belgium, England, and what's the 4th country? Oh, Croatia. I visited that country a couple of years back, and I did a vlog. Beautiful country. So I think 4 great countries that made it to the quarterfinals. So good luck to everyone.
That's awesome. And then Ryan asked, if he had to only pick 5 products to detail a car, what would he choose? And I guess I would suggest Ryan go and check out your latest video.
For sure, because I can't answer that. There's too many products that I love.
Gotcha.
I'd be hard pressed to pick just because if people have seen my videos, they know how OCD I am with just the quantity of products. And I literally have thousands and thousands of bottles of products. I don't even know where to store them anymore. So just choosing 5, I would die. If you'd prevent me from enjoying my passion for detailing if you just allow me to have 5 products. So I can't answer that.
And go check out that latest video where Pan has a new car and details it and coats it and all that. It's an incredible car, incredible video, of course. But man, that car looks just incredible.
2018 BMW M550i. For those who haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a sick car. Obviously, I worked hard to be able to achieve that kind of a level, but I also showed and shared every single step of detailing my brand new ride as soon as I took delivery. And of course, the OCD in me had to extend to the dealership experience. Like I told them, like they looked at me in a weird way. And I asked them in the end, has anyone ever asked this to you guys? And they're like, no. So I told them, you do not touch the car. No washing, no polishing, no waxing, no sealants, not even tire dressing, nothing. I want to just take it home and do the detail myself. And they were like, okay, no problem. I mean, it saved them a bunch of work.
Of course. And how was the paint work when you got it?
Honestly, it was flawless. It's
nice.
The first time I see this in a brand new vehicle because there's always some sort of marring or scratching or love marks, especially what we call the dealer installed swirls and scratches.
Yep.
This one was, I was shocked. I looked at it for close to 45 minutes, close inspection with my LED pen light, trying to find where there was this little, and no, honestly, I was super happy. Yeah, it's very rare that happens, but on the odd occasion, yeah, it does happen.
Good for you that you got lucky with that. And I think that's it for the question. I had another question, but I forgot it. I couldn't remember. So was there, you've given an incredible first podcast interview.
Oh, really? Thanks.
To say that this is your first is unbelievable, but from the mic and background, everything, you've done a great job. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to add, or is there anything just randomly that you would like to add to that you want people to know about you, that you want, anything like that? And then after that, we could do your social plugs, of course, because I want as many of my followers to follow you. But is there anything that you, when in thinking about this, you wanted to make sure you got across that I haven't asked?
Well, for obviously all the people who have never followed my videos, just go have a look. I'm sure after one or two, you'll be hooked. Yes, I do talk about car detailing. That's the main focus of my channel, but I also have a lot of other topics that sometimes people just don't look into or don't even know that are there, and they get enthused when they see that I do all that. So I have anything from DIY house cleaners, if you want to learn how to clean your house with effective products that are very good and healthy as well, meaning that there are no major chemicals. You have all the stuff you need at home to create them. I have videos on how to make your budgets, so how to do an Excel file to make sure you improve your finances. I have travel vlogs, so I travel to Europe at least once a year. My girlfriend, that's one of her passions, and she organizes our trips to perfection. So I always have some great tips, and just you get to enjoy the scenery of all the countries I've been to, whether it be Spain, Greece, Croatia, Slovenia. I've been to Austria. We're going to France this year at the end of September, beginning of October. So a video will follow for that too. Anybody who likes electronics, so high-end equipment or even some cheaper stuff, I mean cheaper by entry level. So it can be Bose headphones or JBL Bluetooth speakers. I review those. My new high-end 20,000 hi-fi setup, which is now I think up to $35,000 that I spent. It's out of control. I have a custom home theater. You guys should check that out. It's very highly ranked on YouTube too. I think close to 300,000 views. It's just you're going to see my OCD to another level. So I had this custom home theater room. It's a real cinema built in my home because I'm audiophile and videophile as well. So I obsess on those things. And basically, a bunch of different topics that people just don't necessarily think of or don't associate with car detailing. But I just share my passions with my viewers. So I think they're going to learn a lot, definitely, and be entertained along the way, hopefully. So I said, I speak 3 languages, so people know that. I know sometimes a lot of people have those questions. Yeah. I'm from Montreal, Canada, by the way, for those wondering. Yep. What else? I'm 37 years of age. I absolutely love what I do, and hopefully, we'll see. Time will tell. I don't know what future has in store. But I think one thing I wanted to mention, a thing that separates me, I think, from, because people often ask me like, what differentiates you from other YouTubers? Right. Like, what's behind your success? Yep. Well, other than the videos in both languages, English and French. There's the consistency. So every single week, my viewers always see it. It's either a Friday, Saturday, or Sundays at around 1 o'clock p.m. Montreal time that videos go live on my YouTube channel. But I think another cool thing is that I never say in advance, at least most of the time, what the next video will be. So it's always a surprise. So I like the fact that viewers will tune in and they have no idea what the next video will be. So it's kind of a surprise every single week. So it's a little thing. Awesome. I hope they set in their schedules to watch Pan TheOrganizer, regardless of what time or day they want to enjoy my videos. I think that's pretty cool. So I like, keeping the mystery behind my next videos, and I have a bunch of cool things coming up. So I think that's pretty much sums it up.
And just in case anyone wants to know, what is your what is your name? Pan
my name?
Yes.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
So Pan is the short version, like Peter Pan. So Pan TheOrganizer, that's where that comes from. But Pandelis is my first name, and Moskopoulos is my family name. So it's of Greek origin, hence the lengthy name. But everybody calls me Pan because it's just so much easier. It almost takes you a full day's training before you get to pronounce my name right. And actually, if I say it in Greek, if there are any Greeks out there, my name is Pandelis Moskopoulos. So that's with the accent right there.
Love it. And if people have been listening to this and they've never watched your videos before, they want to follow you, how can they check out your videos? How can they follow you on social if you have Facebook or Instagram or any of that? Obviously, YouTube maybe being the most prevalent, but how can people find you?
So YouTube, of course, the most important. It's Pan TheOrganizer. So that's my detailing channel. So Pan, and in one word, The Organizer, ORGANIZER. So you'll find me there. My social media, I have Facebook at Pandelis Moskopoulos. So PANDELIS MOSCHOPOULOS, or you can just search for Pan TheOrganizer. I'm sure you'll find me. Instagram, the same thing. I'm at Pan TheOrganizer. On Twitter, at Pan TheOrganizer as well. And even on Snapchat, Pan TheOrganizer. Although I haven't started any snaps yet, but I'm very active on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Just one thing maybe for the community. Another thing that differentiates me, I still do every single comment on YouTube on a daily basis personally. Not a lot of YouTubers do that. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes I'm there for 2 to 3 hours. Like, people don't know how long this takes, but I get hundreds and hundreds of comments and messages and emails a day. And the bigger I grow my channel, the more this happens. So I still do my best to give it that personal touch. But if you have any questions, guys, direct them on YouTube. That's the one I answer every day. Because Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I mostly post pictures or videos on, so it's harder for me to answer on all my social media. So sorry if I haven't gone through your emails or messages yet, but focus on YouTube, as I try to be there every single day answering you guys' questions.
I love it, Pan, and I'll link all that up in the show notes below if anyone's interested, but I think the easiest is just whatever platform you're on, just search Pan the Organizer.
By the way, because I'll put this video on my channel as well. For my viewers who are watching, I'll include the links to all this podcasting in the description under the video. So make sure you guys check Jimbo out. Great guy, great podcast. Yeah, I mean, you can listen to this on your way to work, in your car, or at night when you go in your bed. You put in your earphones and boom, you're good to go. He's had a lot of, I call them YouTube celebrities on his podcasts, and I'm just blessed and glad that he asked me to be on his show. So thanks, Jimbo.
You got it. And since we started the show opening how you open your videos, how about we close out the recording how you close out your videos? My
famous closing.
Yes.
All right. So you want me to do this now?
Right now.
All right, guys. So thanks for being there. Thanks for watching like every single week. And in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight. Keep it clean, and I'll see you guys on the next one.